too late, but I hope next president of the United States. Whether it's the soldier, or the child, or whether it's all of us, we welcome to you in this part of South there. Welcome. Let's give a hand. All right, God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Take a picture. Work hard. God bless you. Well, welcome. Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate that, and thank you all for being here. What a wonderful crowd. Thank you for bearing up in the weather. And as you probably heard, we got a little delayed. We had a couple of car caravan, and my daughter was on her way to meet the caravan to come up with us, and she ended up with a couple of flat tires. She went over a curb she shouldn't have, and so we got delayed in getting everybody together. So I apologize for getting up here, but we are running on all four wheels and doing very, very well, and we feel great. We're going to surprise a lot of people in South Carolina tonight. Let me introduce you to my traveling companions here, and first and foremost is not my traveling companion just today, but my traveling companion through life, the woman who stands behind me and at my side and encourages me and inspires me every single day, and that's my wife Karen. And I encourage all of you tonight. I hate to plug a particular network, but I'll plug CNN tonight, because tonight is Karen and the kids are actually going to be on Pierce Morgan's show tonight on CNN, so I'd encourage you all to take a look at that. We did the interview yesterday from Charleston, and you'll get to see how, at the end of the interview, Pierce Morgan leaned over to me and said, "You want my suggestion? Less Rick, more Karen." So I can't argue with that. That's pretty much the story in life. And you'll also get a chance to see the rest of the family. Will have, I think there were 4 of the kids that were gathered around for the last segment, and one of the 4 who's actually been doing a lot of campaigning for me and doing some interviews, and for a 14-year-old, doing pretty darn well. That's my daughter, Sarah Maria. So thank you all. Let me thank the Duggars who are here. I saw Jim Bob. I don't know where he went. There he is. Thank you so much for being here and for bringing the bus and bringing the family. And they have been just great in traveling. They traveled around Iowa. You know, it would have been fitting had we won by 19 votes, but we didn't. We won by 34, but it was the 19 of the Duggars were just great in helping us in Iowa. And they came down here and just traveling around the state, helping us out, doing what they can. And we just, from the bottom of our heart, Karen and I were talking about this. We just thank you so much, you and your family, for what you're doing. Let's give them a big round of applause and thanks for their generosity. Thank you. What a blessing.
You're standing for putting your family out there to make a difference for our country.
Thank you, Jim Bob. Appreciate it, my friend. Thank you. Here we are, and this is the day before, and we're very, very excited, and we're traveling and we're doing an event here, and then we're going up to Rock Hill, and we're going over to the upstate, and then back down to Charleston tonight to finish up and with a Citadel dinner, and we're excited that we feel the energy and excitement. Yesterday was a big day for us on a lot of fronts. We were certified the winner of Iowa by 34 votes, which is unanimous. So this aura of inevitability that so many have been wanting to paint. One person in particular who's been wanting to paint that Mitt Romney is the candidate that is going to surge and walk his way into this. He is now no longer 2-0. He's 1-1. And he's coming down here to South Carolina, and we feel very, very good that we're going to have, without question, The conservative candidates in this race are going to pull a lot more votes than the moderate candidate in this race, and then we're going to have to fight it out as to where we're going to have, whether the moderate and the conservative once it gets one-on-one, and that process is going to continue beyond South Carolina and into Florida, and then through the month of February into the Super Tuesday states. We feel very, very good, but what we need here in South Carolina is a good burst of energy and surge for us to get out there and show that now that it's down to those critical 3 people, frankly, who can become the Republican nominee, that South Carolina understands. I used this analogy earlier today. Someone shared with me on the radio. It was a talk show host, so I'm going to borrow it from them. They said that the way they're looking at this is sort of like Goldilocks and the 3 bears, and you have one candidate that's just a little too radioactive, a little too hot. In what he says and what he does and the positions he's taking and the comments he's making. It's just too much about that candidate that we don't need to have when we're matching up against Barack Obama. We want the race not to be about our candidate. We want the race to be about Barack Obama and his horrible record for America. And then we have another candidate who's just too darn cold. Who doesn't have bold plans, who doesn't have that clear contrast because of inconsistencies and flip-flops. And we need someone who's just right, someone who has a strong conviction, conservative, someone who isn't going to be the issue in the campaign, someone who can be able to point to the clear contrast between our positions and point to Barack Obama and his record, someone who can win this election and restore the values and principles of America back to this great country. I will tell you that this is a race here in South Carolina where the people of South Carolina have a choice to make. They have a choice to make whether they're going to stand up for the values that they believe in. I hear this all the time as I travel around the state, and I have heard it, frankly, from a lot of folks, particularly from Tea Party people. I hear this a lot. We're sick and tired of politicians who say they're going to do one thing, talk about how tough they're going to be, how principled they are, and what they want to do to this country, and then go to Washington, D.C., or go down to Columbia, and then compromise on their values and principles.
You almost done?
We all understand you have to compromise on particular things, but not on your values and not on your principles. And we hear that all the time, and you're right. We've had far too much. I used to say when I was working and trying to advance the conservative cause that I was dealing with other Republicans who were in essence just cheap Democrats. Wanted to do what their Democrats wanted to do, and to grow the size and scale of government, but just do it slower or do it less or cheaper. That's not what this country needs. This country needs someone who understands that this country is built from the bottom up. And that's what the greatness of America, believing in families, faith, free people, free markets, free enterprise, small business. That's what made America the greatest country in the history of the world, not someone who believes that government can and should order every aspect of our society because smarter people know how to plan a society better than free people providing for themselves and their community and living good, decent, and moral lives. That's the contrast. That's what we should not compromise on. And so I would say to you here, voters of the people here in South Carolina, don't compromise.
That's right.
Don't go in there and say, we know who the best candidate is. We know the person who's got the best record. We know the person who has the positive, uplifting vision for getting this economy growing, and not just Wall Street, not just cutting taxes that the Club for Growth thinks is a good idea in Austrian economics, but cutting taxes, reforming regulations, and focusing on what's going to get every single American the opportunity to rise. Those blue-collar guys who are feeling like they're out there paddling alone. The folks that have 2.5 times the rate of unemployment as folks who are college educated. Those are the folks that we have to make sure that have the opportunities in America too. And we've gone out there and we've put forward a positive plan, a plan that people can rally around, something that can get the support from the exact voters that we need in Pennsylvania, and Ohio, and Iowa, and North Carolina, and Michigan, and Indiana. folks that were processing in an industry is the key to getting those swing Democrats, those Reagan Democrats, back in our camp. They want to be in our camp. But you know what? They want to know that the Republican Party and the conservative movement cares about them. Not just their values on Sunday, which they practice, but they care that they make sure that when they go to work on Monday, they can work at a job that supports and sustains their family.
Right.
There's one candidate out there that's doing it, and that's the guy who's the grandson of a coal miner. People have written articles that my grandfather was a big Democrat. Well, he was. My grandfather was a union coal miner. When he came into this country, he ended up working in a coal mine, but he worked and lived in a company town. And he was provided housing by the company and lived in this two-room shack, which still stands today, with an outhouse and running water about 1/8 of a mile down the road, because the house is right near the mine and all the water around the mine was all spoiled. And so, yeah, he lived there and got paid not with money, but with we call them coupons or stamps. And you know, he fought to come out of that very difficult position. And he did. He helped organize the union and try to reform working conditions. And it was a very different time in American history.
Hi, I just got back from Hudson Smokehouse, where Rick Santorum was supposed to speak to everyone. And I didn't get it all. And the reason I didn't get it all is because all the self-proclaimed Christians that were there were so rude that I couldn't take it anymore. I had to leave. It just makes me sick that all the parents in this area, at any other functions that I've been at, that had a lot of Christians, have been rude, obnoxious. They can't control their kids. They can't control their mouths. You're trying to listen to somebody, and all they want to do is disturb and disrupt. I'm sick of it. I will never go to another one again.